This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive Sunday. And in the news this morning for September 17, 2023, PNP cannot win without a broad-based support, says Patterson. P.J. Patterson, former president of the People's National Party and a former prime minister from 1992 to 2006, has called for supporters of the party to rally around the current president, Mark Golding, and to improve its organizational structure if it wanted to form the next government. Additionally, he asserted that without a broad-based support, a traditional characteristic of the PNP, the party will not be positioned to win the next parliamentary election. Mr. Patterson, addressing the private session of the party's annual conference on Saturday, argued that its president must be given the freedom to choose his team, but said the team must be of the highest standard. He warned that the PNP cannot afford to bench any of its brightest stars and the persons with a broad appeal. Mr. Patterson added that the shadow cabinet must be a force to be reckoned with, all-encompassing to embrace business, professionals, and workers. The former PNP president urged the party to capitalize on the disaffection among members of the society and improve its national presence on the ground from now until the end of Election Day. He urged the General Secretary to identify and convince the more than 100,000 party members who stayed away from the polls during the last election to return to the party. Mr. Patterson advised the PNP to target and gain the support of the island's teachers, nurses, doctors, lawyers, clergy, journalists, farmers, workers in tourism, BPOs, barbers, hairdressers, household helpers, and the taximen. He warned that without them, the PNP will be defeated. Person of interest in disappearance of Paulwell's daughter was on watch list. A person of interest in the investigation into the disappearance of a woman and the infant child she shares with opposition member of parliament Philip Paulwell was on an immigration watch list, law enforcement sources have disclosed. His identity was not disclosed as the top-level investigation is being conducted as a need-to-know basis, sources said. The news understands that the man was turned back by immigration authorities at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston after he showed up to board a flight on Friday. The person was on an immigration watch list. He was on his way out and we stopped him from going, a source revealed yesterday. However, the man is not in police custody, according to multiple sources. Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitzbailey declined to comment on the probe when contacted by the news yesterday. The investigation is ongoing, and I am not going to comment any further, said Bailey, who heads the Police Criminal Investigations Branch. It is believed that 10-month-old Saroya Paulwell and her mother, 27-year-old Tashona Patterson, were abducted from their home on Gilmore Drive in St. Andrew on September 9. They were last seen about 7 a.m. at the gate to their home, according to family members. 1 week later, their whereabouts remain a mystery, despite a $500,000 reward for information that could lead to their safe return. Calls to Paulwell's mobile phone yesterday went unanswered, but in a Facebook post on Friday, the 6th-term MP for Kingston East and Port Royal described the past week as very horrific for me. He said that despite efforts, nothing has brought the police or family members closer to locating his daughter and her mother. I have dealt with many things in my life, but the disappearance of my daughter and her mother is by far the most difficult thing I have ever had to navigate, said the former cabinet minister. Board chairman says irregular financial activities found at St. James High. Chairman of the St. James High School in the Western City, Christopher McCurdy, wants the immediate intervention of the Ministry of Education after he confirmed a multi-million-dollar financial discrepancy at the institution. McCurdy made the disclosure in a letter addressed to the MOE's Director of Region 4, Dr. Michelle Pinnock, on Friday afternoon. A copy of the letter was obtained by the news. According to McCurdy, the board has recognized some irregularities in the handling of the school's financial resources. As chairman of the Board of Management, I regret to inform the Ministry of Education and Youth of egregious financial irregularities that have been uncovered in recent weeks at the institution. These revelations have shone a harsh light upon what has now emerged as a pattern of mismanagement, procedural negligence, a culture of cronyism, and nepotism that has plagued our school for far too long, the chairman said. He said that the board came across the discrepancies after realizing that checks that were said to be brought before the Joint Finance and Procurement Committee were inexplicably taken to the secondary signature on the school's account without board approval. This serious derogation from standard procedure occurred without my consent or approval, raising serious concerns about the integrity of our school's financial processes, bemoaned McCurdy. The chairman stated that recently, over $3 million was transferred from the school to a supplier without the board's approval. It turns out that this incident is the latest in a series of systematic operational issues that have plagued the St. James High School for several years. The school administration's frequent lack of adherence to established procedures, as mandated by the Ministry of Education and Youth, has placed the school's financial stability and reputation in jeopardy, McCurdy lamented. McCurdy also accused the school's administration of portraying biases in the carrying out of its duties and the procurement of services. It is disheartening to note that cronyism and nepotism have reached alarming levels within the school's administration. Appointments, promotions, and financial decisions have often been influenced more by personal connections than merit, thereby undermining the institution's commitment to fairness and excellence in education, he said. McCurdy stated that after a meeting of the school's board on Thursday, he is therefore calling on the Education Ministry to investigate the matter. Considering the foregoing, the council members of the board have recommended to the Ministry of Education and Youth that the principal, bursar, and the chairman of the Finance Committee be placed on a leave of absence to facilitate a forensic investigation into the operational and the financial management of St. James High School, the chairman said. Speaking with the news Friday evening, McCurdy explained that red flags were raised by the board due to the belief that payments were being duplicated. He said this was what triggered an internal probe into the handling of the school's money. What you are referring to in the letter that was sent to the ministry is accurate. It is based on what I have observed as the board chair. There were a series of checks that were held pending an internal audit because we suspect that there could have been duplicate payments and they were unauthorized, he explained. McCurdy added certain procedures that were established by the ministry were not followed, so those checks were held pending an internal investigation by the Joint Finance and the Procurement Committee. Those committees were to meet, look at what was happening, and present a report that would have been brought back to the board for a decision to be made for payment. However, those checks were removed from the school. The chairman said that in addition to the secondary signatory signing for the checks, another individual signed to receive the check on behalf of the supplier without even an authorization letter for them to do so. We found that these things are very damning, and of course my biggest concern is that I am not sure how much more of this has taken place or how long this has been going on at the institution. So we want to get an audit to ensure that it is not deeper than what we have uncovered, he told the news. McCurdy has expressed a commitment to sharing updates on the matter with concerned stakeholders. The Board of Management understands the concerns that our school family and the wider community will have in response to these findings. We pledge utmost transparency and accountability throughout this period. St. James High School is an integral part of our community, and we are fully committed to resolving the issues and rebuilding trust. As the chairman of the board, I will personally oversee the timely implementation of corrective measures, and I commit to providing regular updates to all stakeholders as we work towards a brighter and a more accountable future for St. James High School, he said. Repeated attempts to contact the school's principal, Joseph Williams, were unsuccessful. However, on Saturday, Dr. Pinnock told the news that she was unable to comment on the matter at this moment due to her responding to a personal emergency. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.